Listen very closely. Underneath all the noise of your day, can you feel it? A tiny hum, a vibration without a sound. It's like an echo of something long forgotten, something resting deep inside the hidden geode of who you think you are. We gather reflections, don't we? Making an identity from shiny pieces of 1,000 quick moments, and we call that me. But what if this me you've built so carefully is just the rough outer shell, and the real wonder is the brilliant hidden world it protects? This isn't a puzzle for your quick mind to solve, but a secret door that opens only to a quiet inner knowing. We are taught to look outside ourselves for answers, for approval, for love. But what if the greatest adventure is the journey inward? Not to find something new, but to crack open the ordinary stone of your surface self and discover the luminous crystals that have always been there, waiting. What if you are already that which you seek, and the seeking itself is the only veil? Now observe the mind, the celestial architect, the weaver of realities, the grand illusionist. With the breath of a single thought, it conjures entire universes, populates them with vivid ghosts of what was, and tantalizing phantoms of what might be. Then it hands you a script, etched with roles and destinies, and with a magician's flourish, convinces you this is your immutable truth, your only possible story. We memorize our lines, we play our parts with such earnest conviction, we forget that we are also the silent audience, and perhaps most mysteriously, the very stage upon which this epic drama unfolds. Consider the pronouncements that echo in the chambers of your inner world, the self-talk that defines your days. I am lacking, I am incomplete. I must strive harder, achieve more, be more. What if I choose the wrong path? What if I fail? What if I am simply not enough? These are not mere fleeting whispers. They are the potent incantations that solidify the shifting sands of our labyrinth, forming the very walls of our self-imposed limitations. We anoint them with the power of unshakable truth, and then we stand within our own creation, lamenting our confinement, yearning for an escape that seems forever out of reach. And then there is doubt, the most cunning of desert guides, the sly shapeshifter. It arrives not as a fragile, passing thought, but cloaked in the authority of your own deepest reason, your most trusted inner counsel. Am I truly understanding this? Is this profound insight, or am I merely deluding myself further? This path feels right, but what if it's another illusion? Another dead end in this endless desert. This pervasive unease, this constant questioning, feels so intimately, so undeniably you, because the very phantom of a separate, searching self is its most devoted disciple, its most loyal companion. It is the ego's ultimate masterpiece of camouflage, its most effective way of keeping you wandering, searching, but never truly arriving. Even the most sacred quest, the noble search for spiritual truth, can become just another winding corridor in this labyrinth of shifting sands. We gather spiritual gems, profound insights, ancient practices, elegant philosophies, the words of enlightened masters, hoping to adorn, to complete that central phantom, this I, that forever yearns for a sense of wholeness it believes it has lost. I am the void. I am infinite love. I am one with the universe. These can be beautiful signposts, powerful mantras, yet they can also become the most gilded, most subtle of masks. If they conceal the face that needs no adornment, the presence that is already inherently complete. What if every frantic effort to escape this labyrinth, every new map meticulously drawn by the hopeful mind, merely redraws its ever-changing boundaries, re-solidifies its sandy illusions? What if the true way out is not to find a new path, a more clever strategy, but to stop, to be still, and to see through the very fabric of the desert, to realize that the shifting sands and the mirages are not the landscape itself, but creations of your own perception? What if the freedom you seek is not found by escaping the labyrinth, but by realizing you were never truly trapped within it, only dreaming that you were? Let us now dare a different kind of perception, a different way of meeting our experience. Not with the sharp, analytical gaze that dissects and categorizes, but with the soft, open focus of pure wonder, the innocent curiosity of a child seeing the world for the very first time. Allow the thoughts that arise in your mind to drift, like clouds across the boundless desert sky, uninvited, unresisted, unjudged. Observe their shapes, their colors, their fleeting passage, as you might observe exotic birds taking flight. Admire their beauty, their strangeness, their freedom, without any impulse to capture them, to name them, or to claim them as your own. The vast desert sky is not defined by the clouds that momentarily drift through it, nor is it diminished when they are gone. Who or what is this silent, aware presence that witnesses this mental theater, this inner sky? Can you, with the most honest and subtle investigation, isolate the playwright from the play, the thinker from the thought? When the inner script reads, "I am feeling anxious and lost," who precisely is this I? Is it the trembling sensation of anxiety itself? Is it the fleeting image of being lost? Or is it the silent, unshakable, empty stage upon which this entire drama of anxiety and lostness plays out, and then just as effortlessly dissolves. This is the sacred art of Neti Neti. Not this, not that. It is a holy undressing, a gentle peeling away of all the layers of mistaken identity. I am not this vessel of sensation, this body with its pleasures and pains, though all sensation flows through me like the desert wind. I am not this whirlwind of thought, this ceaseless inner chatter, though I witness its most turbulent storms and its most profound calms. Each and every time the mind confidently whispers or subtly suggests, here, this particular thought, this specific feeling, this cherished memory, this important role, this is essentially you. Pause. With infinite tenderness, look deeper. Is it your irreducible essence, your timeless nature? Or is it merely its current costume, a temporary garment worn by the formless? That primal, undeniable throb of I exist, that unadorned, naked awareness of simply being, it breathes, it pulses, it is, long before any label, any story, any definition is attached to it. When the mind itself, weary of its own ceaseless activity, bows in humble stillness, this I amness doesn't just remain, it illuminates everything from within. This is not a conceptual trophy to be won through intellectual gymnastics. It's the very air you have always breathed. The very ground you have always stood upon, finally, miraculously noticed. It is so astonishingly simple, so intimately near, that the brilliant intellect, with all its grand theories and complex maps, often dismisses it as too simple to be true, too close to be of any real significance. We human beings, we crave the defined, the known, the charted territory. The ego, that guardian of familiar illusions, like an ancient Sphinx whose riddles keep us captive, stands at the perceived center of our inner labyrinth. It offers its well-worn maps of suffering, its familiar comforts of known anxieties and predictable routines, rather than the terrifying, exhilarating freedom of the uncharted, the unknown, the truly limitless. It whispers, stay here in what you know, even if it's painful. Out there, beyond these walls, lies only chaos, only the void. But what if the true monster, the only real captor, is the very belief in the map itself, the unquestioned acceptance of the guardian's fearful whispers? What if true freedom dawns not when you solve the Sphinx's riddle, but when you realize the Sphinx itself is but a shadow cast by your own mind, and you simply walk through it into the open radiance of what you truly are? The deep-seated conviction that you are a tangled knot of problems that must be painstakingly unraveled is the primary knot. The belief that you are lost is the only thing that keeps you from seeing you are already home. And now, a gentle invitation. Not to journey to some distant mystical land, but to fall awake into the luminous landscape that is already and always right here. Find your sanctuary of stillness for these next few moments. Allow your body to settle, to release like a tired traveler, finally laying down their heavy load at the end of a long day. Let the earth or whatever supports you fully hold you. Allow your eyelids to drift closed, like soft curtains drawing on the outer world. Or if you prefer, let your gaze soften, becoming a gentle, unfocused witness to the space before you, seeing without looking. Become intimately aware of the subtle, sacred tide of your breath. A silent river of life flowing effortlessly in, a quiet whisper of release flowing effortlessly out. No need to control it, no need to change it. Simply the breath breathing itself, a timeless rhythm connecting you to all that is. Now, gently scan the inner landscape of your bodily sensations. Notice the points of contact, the subtle pressures. Feel the warmth, the coolness, the aliveness that hums within. Perhaps there are areas of tension, like tightly held knots. Perhaps there are areas of profound ease, like calm, open meadows. All of it held in a tender, allowing, non-judgmental presence. You are the vast, open sky, and these sensations are merely weather passing through. We begin now the sacred undressing, the gentle art of Neti Neti. Not this, not that, the unmasking of the eternally real, the letting go of all that is temporary. This human form, this earth body, feel its weight, its density, its miraculous complexity, its warmth, its aliveness. Are you this intricate form alone? Sensations dance within and upon it, a fleeting itch, a gentle pulse, a wave of pleasure, a pang of discomfort. The world is tasted, touched, seen, heard, smelled through its delicate senses. But are you reducible to these fleeting perceptions? This exquisite biological marvel, is it the entirety, the boundless totality of your being? If a single beautiful petal falls from an infinite, ever-blooming rose, is the rose itself diminished in its essential beauty, its timeless essence? Observe what arises in your awareness. The body is a precious vessel, a beloved instrument through which the music of life is played. Who is the musician, the silent composer? Silently, gently, let the deep knowing surface. More than this body, I am. Allow that boundary, that limitation, to dissolve like mist in the morning sun. Now turn your awareness to the mind's ethereal, ever-flowing river. The ceaseless procession of thoughts, images, fragments of old songs, silent conversations, daydreams, worries. Witness this inner stream as you might watch a mesmerizing river flow by. Notice its currents, its eddies, its reflections, without needing to jump in, without needing to stop it, without needing to understand its source or its destination. Are you these fleeting, shimmering sparks of thought, these mental currents? A thought blazes into existence, lingers for a moment, and then, just as quickly, is gone, replaced by another. You are aware of this constant appearing and disappearing. Can the awareness itself be caught in this fleeting parade of mental events? Or is it the vast, silent, unchanging riverbed, which allows the river of thought to flow, yet remains unstained, untouched, forever itself? With a gentle inner nod, a quiet recognition, acknowledge, more than these thoughts, I am. Let that mask, that subtle identification, fall away effortlessly. Consider now the deep currents of feeling, the emotions. A sudden wave of joy that lifts you, a shadow of sorrow that passes through, a spark of anger that flashes, the deep balm of peace that settles. Allow whatever emotion is present or any memory of an emotion to simply be held in the vast, compassionate embrace of your awareness, without judgment, without resistance. Are you this wave of emotion, this passing storm or fleeting sunshine? Emotions are powerful visitors, potent messengers, transformative energies, yet they too shall pass. They are not your permanent address. You are aware of their presence, their intensity, their gradual fading. Who is this aware presence? Is it defined by the emotional weather, tossed about by its intensity? Or is it the boundless, clear atmosphere in which all weather, light or dark, joyous or challenging, occurs and is known. With infinite tenderness for yourself, affirm from your depths, more than these emotions, I am. Another layer softens, another illusion yields. The many costumes you wear in the world, the roles you play. Parent, child, lover, friend, employee, artist, student, teacher, seeker, healer, the lost one, the wise one. These are the beautiful, intricate threads with which you weave the rich tapestry of your life's interactions. Are you these threads alone, these shifting patterns? Roles shift, identities molt like seasons. If one beloved costume is laid aside, if one cherished role ends, does the essential, timeless you vanish along with it? These are the functions, the sacred dances you perform on the stage of life. Who is the dancer? The presence that animates all masks, yet is bound by none. Silently, deeply know, more than these roles, I am. Let the weight of these identities rest. The grand, epic tapestry of your life story, your unique collection of memories, your personal history. The intricate narrative of me and my life, stretching from a dimly remembered, almost mythical past, through this present moment towards an unknown, imagined future. Are you this epic tale, however compelling, however precious, however painful? Memories are but echoes of past thoughts, ghosts of experiences long gone. The story is a masterful mental weave, a precious legend you tell yourself and others. You are aware of this legend. Who is the timeless bard, the silent listener, aware of all tellings, all versions, yet not contained within any single one? Acknowledge with profound grace, more than this story, I am. Let it become a cherished book, resting upon a shelf in a library that is vaster than all libraries. As these garments of assumed identity are gently, lovingly laid aside, layer by layer, what presence remains? What is here when all definitions have dissolved? Resist with gentle firmness the mind's conditioned habit to immediately name it, to grasp it with a concept, to fit it into a familiar box. The intellect, in its helpful way, will offer its finest conceptual silks. I am the witness. I am limitless space. I am divine emptiness. I am pure consciousness. These can be beautiful resonant signposts, but the destination they point to is not a word, not an idea, not even the most sublime concept. Can you simply be this luminous, unnameable mystery? Can you rest as the open, silent question that answers itself through its own undeniable existence? This simple, direct, undeniable pulse of I, this naked, unadorned awareness, before it is dressed in the costume of I am this or I am that. Marinate in that. This unqualified, self-knowing, self-luminous presence It is not a distant peak to be conquered through arduous effort, nor a hidden treasure to be unearthed after a long search. It is the ever-present sunlight of your own being, revealed in its full glory when the clouds of misidentification disperse. It is the silent, radiant, unshakable ground of your entire existence. Who is aware of this profound, vibrant stillness, this silent, joyous illumination? Is there a separate entity, a little I, observing this vastness from afar? Or has the observer lovingly merged into the observation, the seer dissolved into the boundless light of seeing itself? Linger here in this open sanctuary. No agenda, no effort, no striving. Simply being the beingness that you are. The unheard melody that orchestrates the entire cosmos, vibrating at the very core of your awareness. Perhaps a subtle thought, a familiar whisper, flickers at the edge of your awareness. Is this really it? Or, I'm not feeling anything particularly special. or my mind is still subtly chattering in the background. These are but faint ripples on the surface of an infinitely deep, calm ocean. Acknowledge them as such, like distant thunder on a summer evening, and let your attention effortlessly rest in and as the undisturbed, peaceful depths. This amness, this fundamental reality of your existence, requires no external condition, no specific thought, no particular feeling for its being. It simply is, effortlessly shining by its own innate, inexhaustible light forever. When a sense of gentle readiness arises from within, softly, without losing this expansive, peaceful awareness, begin to gradually re-invite the sensory world. Notice, as if for the first time, the subtle symphony of sounds around you, near and far, without labeling them. Feel the gentle, reassuring anchor of your body, the friendly support of the earth or the surface beneath you. Slowly, like a rare flower unfolding at its own perfect pace, allow your eyes to softly open, bringing this inner radiance, this quiet joy, into the world you see before you. This silent oracle, this hidden spring of wisdom you have just touched, it does not reside in some distant, inaccessible temple, nor is it the exclusive domain of saints and sages. It lives, it breathes, it waits patiently within the most intimate sanctuary of your own awareness. It is always eternally here, closer than your own breath. This truth, this reality you have just tasted, is not a distant, cold star in some unreachable galaxy of spiritual attainment. It is the invisible, ever-present sun that illuminates all perception, all experience from within. It is the very fabric, the living essence of your being, veiled from your direct sight only by the mind's persistent, captivating dream of separation and becoming. It is the grandest, most obvious, yet most overlooked of open secrets, whispered in every biological heartbeat, shining in every dewdrop, present in every silent pause between your thoughts. Where are you truly, absolutely, when the mind relinquishes its tenacious grip on its maps and coordinates, its definitions of here and there? Before the very concept of location crystallizes in awareness, before the thought, I am in this body, in this room, at this time, even begins to form, can you dare to abide in that origin point, that placeless, timeless expanse from which all places and all times emerge and into which they ultimately dissolve? What is this effortless knowing that blossoms into understanding without the slightest seed of thought, without any mental calculation or deduction? This pure, unmediated awareness that simply is, whether the inner skies of your experience are brilliantly clear and serene, or turbulent with the storms of intense emotion. It is not an attribute you, as a separate self, possess, like a precious jewel held in the hand. It is the limitless, diamond-like space itself, perfectly clear and indestructible, in which all jewels of experience, beautiful or plain, joyous or sorrowful, momentarily glitter and then, inevitably, fade back into formlessness. Envision your consciousness, your fundamental awareness, not as a flickering, vulnerable candle flame, easily confined by the wax of your body and extinguished by the winds of circumstance. See it, feel it, as the boundless, omnipresent ether itself, invisible, intangible, yet the very medium through which all things manifest and move. Thoughts, emotions, sensations, the entire sensory world with its myriad forms and colors, these are but ephemeral phenomena, like cosmic dust motes, subatomic particles, entire galaxies dancing intricate, momentary patterns within its infinite, intelligent embrace. The ether is not the dust, is not the dance, yet it is the silent, allowing, infinitely receptive presence that makes possible every vibration, every form, every fleeting dance of existence. This realization, this homecoming, is not an ascent to some rarefied, otherworldly state, some special spiritual peak reserved for the few. Ecstasy, profound tranquility, unshakable clarity, boundless love. These are exquisite divine blossoms that may indeed unfold along this path, but they too are experiences, however sublime, that appear and disappear within the vast, welcoming garden of pure, unadorned being. The deepest invitation of all is to rest as the garden itself, the silent, fertile, ever-present ground from which all possible experiences, all conceivable worlds, all joys and sorrows effortlessly bloom and then, in their own perfect time, return. Resist with gentle amusement the mind's habitual urge to capture this boundless freedom in the delicate nets of language, to label it, to define it, to possess it as a personal achievement. The intellect, in its well-meaning desire for order and understanding, wants to catalog, to analyze, to create a new, improved map of this territory. But this is a surrendering into, a complete and unconditional surrender of the fierce, often unconscious grip of your assumed identity. It is a letting go of the deeply ingrained addiction to knowing, to controlling, to figuring things out. It is a release from the exhausting burden of becoming something more, something better, something different than what you already, in your deepest essence, are. It is the ultimate unparalleled ease, for in that surrender, you cease all effort, all struggle, to be anything other than what you eternally, effortlessly, and magnificently are. The search ends because the seeker realizes it is the sought. And here, in this incandescent, vibrant silence, in this womb of pure being, the seeker, that brave and persistent traveler, vanishes. Not into a cold, empty annihilation, as the ego might fear, but into an astonishing, deeply freeing allness. The eye that journeyed through so many inner landscapes. The eye that yearned with such poignant intensity for connection, for completion. The eye that perceived itself as a lonely fragment, a lost wanderer, now dissolves effortlessly, joyously, like a single precious raindrop returning to the boundless, welcoming ocean. There is no weaver separate from the golden threads being woven. There is no dancer apart from the ecstatic, timeless dance. The very eye that beholds this luminous mystery is itself made of the same pure, uncreated light it perceives. This is the ultimate shining paradox, the exquisite, sacred consummation of all seeking, all longing. The end of the story of separation. Who are you truly when the very last story of your life, with all its chapters of triumph and sorrow, has been lovingly told and then gently released? When the final, most subtle mask of identity, even the mask of the spiritual seeker or the awakened one, has fallen away like a forgotten dream. When even the fundamental thought, I am, the very anchor of perceived existence, becomes like a distant, fading star dissolving into the dawn of an infinite, unconditional sky. In this eternal, ever-present now, where is the delicate frontier, the imagined boundary between what you have called your inner world and the outer world? Between the knower, the silent, aware presence, and all that is known, all that appears within that presence. This is not the chilling emptiness of lack, of absence, of void. It is the vibrant, fertile emptiness that is pregnant with all possibility, the silent womb of all creation. It is the plenum void, the fullness that is empty, the emptiness that contains everything. It is that original primordial hum, now deafening in its exquisite, peaceful subtlety, vibrating through every particle of your being. It is the unmoving, silent axis around which the entire cosmos, with all its galaxies and all its lives, joyfully, effortlessly spins and dances. This profound recognition, this intimate reunion with your true nature, is not a departure from the world, not an escape into some ethereal realm. It is instead the world's transfiguration, its rebirth in the light of your awakened perception. Daily life, with its routines and its challenges, its joys and its sorrows, does not necessarily cease or change its outer form. Rather, it becomes the sacred canvas for this newfound indwelling luminosity. The most mundane, ordinary moments are suddenly, miraculously, shot through with an unspoken magic, a quiet, profound significance. The mind's familiar tempests, its urgent, dramatic narratives, its catalog of worries and desires they may still visit, like old, sometimes persistent friends, with their oft-told familiar tales. But they no longer command the throne of your awareness. They no longer possess the power to define or imprison you. You witness their arising and their passing from the serene, unshakable expanse of your true nature, like watching distant storm clouds from a place of perfect safety and calm. A lightness and effortless grace begins to permeate your steps, your words, your very presence. A freedom previously only dreamt of, now lived. You begin to move through the world, to interact with its myriad forms and beings, not as a reactive, defended fragment, driven by fear and lack, but as a conscious, loving expression of the intelligent, benevolent whole. Compassion is no longer a moral virtue to be painstakingly cultivated, but the natural, spontaneous fragrance of recognizing the shared, sacred essence in all beings, in all things. The persistent, painful mirage of separation shimmers, wavers, and then dissolves, revealing the intricate, luminous, unbreakable web of profound interconnectedness that is the true nature of reality. This is not about achieving some idealized, superhuman state of emotionless perfection. It is rather about becoming radically, authentically, divinely human, tasting the 10,000 joys and the 10,000 sorrows with an open, undefended being, a core of your awareness that has expanded to compassionately embrace all of life, in all its wild, unpredictable, and magnificent complexity. Inquiry, the gentle art of Neti Neti, ceases to be a formal practice done at specific times and becomes the very breath of your being, a continuous, joyful, moment-by-moment dance of discovery with reality, unveiled and ever new. The relentless, exhausting pursuit of self-worth, of needing to prove yourself, finally comes to a peaceful end. For you have touched, you have become the inexhaustible, ever-flowing hidden spring of your own intrinsic, unconditional value. The gnawing hunger for external validation, for approval from others, simply fades away, replaced by the quiet, unshakable certainty of the boundless truth held and lived from deep within your own radiant being. And so, with these diamond eyes seeing the sacred in the simple, a deeper recognition begins to stir within the stillness. You have integrated the light, but what of the very nature of seeing itself? What of consciousness, the seer, and that which is seen? Consciousness, that hidden spring, is the very source of your subjectivity, the feeling of being an I that experiences a world. But for this experience to unfold, for it to know itself, it performs a wondrous act of self-division. It artfully splits itself into what we call the subject and the object. It becomes the perceiver and it becomes the perceived, the seer and the scenery, the lover and the beloved. This is how experience as you know it comes to be. Yet this subject-object split, this fundamental architecture of your perceived reality, is inherently artificial, a magical display. A necessary dream, perhaps, for the rich play of life to unfold with such vibrancy. Because at the very source, at the silent, unmoving spring of pure being, there is no such division, no seer separate from the seeing, no experiencer apart from the experience. There is only pure, unfragmented experiencing. Just this. Consider this profound mystery. In every single moment of seeing, a new seer is born, and simultaneously, a new scenery arises, just for that seer. In every fleeting instant of hearing, the one who hears and the sound that is heard are created afresh, together, utterly inseparable. They are like two faces of a single coin, two dances of a single flame, two expressions of one underlying indivisible reality. Both the subject and the object are birthed in the very act of experiencing. Therefore, there is only consciousness, vast, unnameable, and singular, constantly miraculously experiencing itself as both the intimate subject that you feel yourself to be, and the myriad objects that constitute your perceived world. And you are that. You are the source of both the seer and the seen, the dreamer and the dream, the thinker and the thought, the feeler and the felt. You are the silent witness to this constant arising and subsiding of subject and object, both of which are your own expressions. It's a dance that even science contemplates. Is the mind doing the brain, or is the brain doing the mind? Perhaps they are both doing each other, but even deeper, they are both being done by something which is neither the mind nor the brain. That something is the boundless field of pure consciousness itself. This deeper understanding brings us to the edge of a beautiful, liberating paradox, a sacred meeting point where the restless, seeking mind must finally bow in awe. For consciousness to fully understand itself, it must pass through this apparent contradiction. The seeker who has journeyed so far through so many inner deserts and mountains, and the timeless truth that was so ardently sought are discovered not to be two separate entities at all. They were never apart. The separation was the illusion that fueled the search. In the very act of consciousness observing itself, in this deep, unwavering inward gaze you have so patiently cultivated, a profound and self-liberating realization dawns. The division it once perceived as so real, that seemingly solid line between me, the subject, and that, the object, was only ever an illusion. A masterful trick of the light, a divine story told for the sheer joy of discovery, for the unfolding of experience. This paradox, this apparent impossibility, is not a problem to be solved by the intricate workings of the intellect. It is not a cosmic knot to be painstakingly untangled by mental effort. It is a profound realization to be tenderly, fully, and joyously embraced. It is the moment the mirror, gazing deeply into itself, realizes it is only ever seeing mirror, only ever reflecting its own inherent nature. For it is precisely through this inward collapse of duality, this gentle, effortless dissolving of all the imagined boundaries between self and other, between knower and known, between inner and outer, that the true boundless fullness of your being is revealed in all its silent, radiant splendor. Consciousness doesn't finally find itself as if it were a lost object, by reaching further outwards into the world of forms, by grasping for more experiences, more knowledge, more achievements. It awakens to its own inherent, ever-present nature by lovingly, patiently dissolving the self-created boundaries within. The walls of the self-made labyrinth, which once seemed so solid and inescapable, simply melt into the clear light of understanding. Only then, in that profound spaciousness, in that gentle, total surrender of all that you merely thought you were, does consciousness awaken to what it truly, eternally is. Not as something that can be known by a separate, observing knower. Not as an object, however subtle or sublime, to be perceived, analyzed, or understood, but as the silent, luminous, ever-present knowing itself. The light that sees and the act of seeing and all that is seen are revealed to be one seamless, indivisible, intelligent radiance. This is the dissolving mirror. consciousness seeing itself, by itself, in itself. And in that pure seeing, finding only boundless, unconditional love, which is its very essence. This, dear friend, is not a final word, not a concluding statement, for the luminous ocean of self-discovery is without shore, its inviting depths ever deepening, ever revealing new wonders. It is and always eternally will be an open, unconditional welcome. A gentle, persistent beckoning from the very core of your own unfolding mystery to continue to turn your loving gaze inward, not with the familiar tension of striving, of seeking, of trying to get somewhere else, but with the profound, simple tenderness of continually and ever more deeply coming home to yourself. The hidden weaver, the mysterious intelligence of life, continues its magnificent, ever-changing creation, its cosmic dance of form and emptiness. But you now know yourself with a certainty that transcends all thought, not only as a precious, unique thread within this grand, infinite design, but also as the silent, aware, loving space that lovingly holds the weaver, the woven, and the very act of weaving itself, all within its boundless embrace. Rest in this knowing. Abide as this living mystery. That subtle, almost forgotten humming feeling you sensed at the very beginning. It is the very pulse of reality itself, the deepest pulse of the cosmos, singing its quiet, timeless, eternal song, as you, through you, for you. You are the voice. You are the silence. You are and always have been the answer you were seeking. Welcome home. You've never left.